Blah, 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 blah.
Here we are. It's Blah Blah Friday. That's what I've decided to call today. Blah Blah Friday, because I have planned nothing, and that's the way it is. So it's one... Oh, see what happens? You just get to see outside. It's really sunny out right now, which is pretty amazing. It's about 1:53. We were a little late getting Archer. Why is this not sitting up the way I want it to? So I should probably open up my windows too, because the weather, like I just said, is amazing. Maybe I used my purse last time. That's a good idea. Extreme close up. There we go. That's a little bit better. The weather. Am I talking about the weather? So it's October 20th right now. Is today the 20th? Yes. It is probably 70 something degrees right now. Like, it's pretty warm. I'm wearing jeans, and that was a bad idea. Air is cooler than what it is in here. Anyway, yeah, so here we are. There's a garage sale going on down the road. Guess I could be looking at that. I decided to bring my brouhaha that I'm doing for Tracy P's birthday sal. So I haven't stitched it all this week. This is what I'm working on. And in my update, I talked about the floss that I was using. House of Embroidery. There it is. House of Embroidery. This is the Harvest pack. I think each skein is 5 yards. Look at that. It might focus if I get it off my head. Anyway, so this is Harvest, and I used this one for the pumpkin head. Look at all the cat fur on it. And then this one, I think, is what I'm using for the eyelet stitches. And then this is the green. So there you go. So that's what I'm using, and I'm working on it in hand, and blah, blah, blah. So that's what we're doing. What are we going to talk about today? Well, Axel, I had to pick up from school on Wednesday. Actually, I didn't have to pick him up early because it was an early release, so he was already getting off at that time. But they didn't want to put him on the bus because he was a little sick, and then while I was on the phone saying, okay, I'll come get him, he threw up in the office, in the trash can, so that was good. So he was sick for about 36 hours. I kept him home yesterday, and he pretty much just laid around, which was very convenient because I got so much stuff done yesterday. It was pretty spectacular. We have family pictures tomorrow. I don't know what the location is yet, though. That makes me a little nervous. I know the town, which isn't very far away. I'd like to know where I'm going because I have zero sense of direction. I've mentioned this before. In my own town, I can get lost in my own town very easily. I need to turn this way because that sun is like too much, man. I need some cloudy October. That sun hitting my back is gonna kill me. So that should be fun. We've picked out outfits, and by we I mean me. Moms, why do we do that? Like, maybe just everybody should wear their pajamas. Why not? Whatever. So that's happening tomorrow. And then a friend of ours is having a bonfire, so we might go to that. But my antisocial side is like, I don't want to go. Already I don't want to go. I know I'll have a good time when I go. I always have a good time when I go. I love our friends, and I love their house, and I've never been there for a fire. They just bought their house recently. It was this summer. And I have been there once, but I have not been there for a fire. So I should probably go, but I already don't want to. I watched a little bit of TV this week. I don't watch TV. I think I mentioned this before, just in passing. I don't watch a lot of TV. We don't have cable. I gave up cable a few years ago. I think it was... If it wasn't before I had Archer, it was shortly after, because it was expensive. We had DirecTV, and we were paying over $100 a month, and it was stupid, and I was like, this is dumb. So first we bought a Roku, and now we have a smart TV and a couple Amazon Fire Sticks, and I have Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu. So I was going to look up a show on Netflix that my neighbor had told me about, which I did watch, so I will share that with you. And I saw American Horror Story had released a new season. I was very excited about that because I loved Hotel. That was probably... that might have been my favorite season. I really liked Asylum too because it was so creeptastic, but Hotel might have been my favorite. It did get campy at the end, but somehow it still fit, and I liked it. So, the season that I'm watching is the American Horror Story My Roanoke Nightmare, I think is what they're calling it. And it's done like a documentary, and I love it. I love the way they're filming it. I love the addition of Cuba Gooding Jr. I love that man. I was so excited. I audibly squealed when I saw that he was in it. And of course I didn't see it until I saw his character, because I don't even think I've read anything about this season. So I think I'm like 4 or 5 in. Lady Gaga just made a reappearance. That excited me because she was definitely the showstopper. She and Dennis O'Hare were, I think, fabulous in Hotel. So he's not in this that much so far. Of course, he's good and everything, but Lady Gaga just came in, I think, like 2 episodes ago that I was watching, and I was so excited because I didn't know she was making a comeback either. So there's that. But of course I can only watch that when the kids aren't around, and I don't like watching it at night because even though it took me a couple episodes before I wasn't scared, I still get scared. That's the way it is. I watched Atypical on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, and it is a comedy about a teenage boy who has autism, and my friend stumbled upon it somehow, my friend next door, Cindy, and she told me for like 3 days straight that I needed to watch it. She's a little pushy. Hi, Cindy, if you're watching. So she just said, you will love it. You will absolutely love it. You have to watch it. So I finally sat down and watched the first one, and I laughed and I cried, and I've since watched the second and maybe the third, I don't remember, of the first season, and I really like it. So I would check that out. If you're interested in watching anything new, Atypical is really good. My kids, of course, are young, so I don't know what they're going to be like in high school, but I can relate to the parents. Not so much. I can relate to the anxiety of the mom. She's headed down a path that I don't exactly agree with, but I can relate to where both of them are coming, and so it's slightly funny, slightly heartbreaking. I have laughed and cried. I wonder if that's the way Axel and Archer are going to be in high school. I wonder if that's the way they're going to relate to their friends. Yeah, you will laugh, you will cry. You don't need to have an autistic child to appreciate it. How about that? Because it's funny no matter what. And then I watched 2 episodes, I think it was just 2, of Lore. That is Diana's fault. Diana from It Is Kismet Stitches. I think it was Diana who posted an Instagram story that she was watching it, and it looked so spooky, and I was like, oh my god. So I decided to look it up in the bright daylight of an afternoon, and it wasn't scary. Maybe they're gonna be, but they aren't. They're really interesting though, and I'm pretty sure it's based off Lore the podcast, and I've never listened to the podcast or any podcast, which I need to bring back up in a minute. So the first episode was about tuberculosis and its rise, and it's kind of from that and the old tales of how you rid the disease from families, because obviously TB would come and it wiped out, they weren't neighborhoods, but like towns and families. And so there was this old ancient lore that you had to find the person afflicted, and if they would exhume them from their graves, and if any part of the body was not decayed or there was blood found in the heart, you had to take the heart, because that meant that the evil spirit, like a demon, was still in their bodies and it was infecting other people. And that's where vampires came from. That was fascinating. It's like, I did not know that. I'm assuming that's true. I don't know. And then the second episode was about the doctor that developed lobotomies and how they used to do them like right behind the eyeball. Like, I didn't know that. I thought that lobotomies were only done by drilling like holes in your brain that way, but this guy had like this long nail. It was like a long knitting needle, and they just kind of put their patients out right in the office with like an electroshock machine, which can't have felt very good, and then lifted up their eyelid and jabbed this thing into their like through their eye socket into their brain. I don't know how anybody believed that that would cure mental illness. I mean, it would definitely jumble something up, but not cure their illness. It would just jumble their brains. Wow. And then it made me so sad, because the very last part of it was a mom who was just pretty much sick and tired of her son, you know, who looked to be 8, 9, 10, because he was a butthole, as kids can be. And she said he was defiant, and he felt like he was better than everybody, and he acted out. And that guy was like, sure, go to this coffee shop, come back in an hour, he'll be just fine. Oh my gosh. No. How many mothers that had butthole kids had them lobotomized? Yikes. That's frightening. So, anyway, probably be cooler if you could actually watch me do this. I'm doing it in hand. Did I mention that already? And the sun is so hot. Maybe if I open up this window too. That way if people walk by, they can hear me talking. And I have air on, you could probably hear it, but ooh, maybe that'll be better. Probably end up with 0 battery in my van. So that's what I've been watching. Ooh, that breeze feels good. I haven't read anything. I've seen a couple good book recommendations from other Flosstubers, and I wrote them down. Not on here, though. Must have written them down somewhere else. So I need to look those up. And I've been knitting a little bit on my weight shawl. I'm about halfway done with that according to my weight. So we'll see how that goes. I am, though, looking for podcasts, I think, to listen to. I keep saying that I want to, and then I don't. I could probably find some on YouTube. I do have YouTube Red until January. But if you guys know of any, I have some on my phone, I think. But I don't listen to them. How do you make yourself listen to them? I need to do some sewing. Maybe I will get some earbuds and try to listen to them while I'm someone's outside while I'm sewing. That seems like a good time. Would you guys listen to them while you're stitching? I guess I listen to Flosstube while I'm stitching, so I don't see how that would be a problem. I don't know. But I'm always looking for something interesting to do while I stitch or knit or sew, because I generally don't watch TV during those times because I need to pay attention, because I practice mindful watching of the TV, which means it's not just on for noise. When I turn it on, there better be something that I want to watch. Yep, that's that. What else is going on? Ooh, the Minnesota retreat's coming up. I think that's next weekend, isn't it? I'm so jelly. I can't wait to see videos. Everybody that's going, post pictures on Instagram or Stitch Mania, or go live in YouTube and make sure I know who you are. Leave me a comment if you're going and let me know what your social medium is so I can follow you. I mean, unless it's like personal Facebook, then you don't have to do that. That's silly. But I'm so excited for everybody that's going. I know that McKenna will keep the rest of us updated, because that's what she does. See the wind? Got windy for a second. What are we doing? I don't really think we have anything planned. I don't have any fun trips planned until November when I go on my Deer Widows weekend. I think that Leaf is going to try to take some time off, though, the week of Halloween. Not because it's Halloween, but because he has time to burn. And he really needs to go hunting because he likes to. And I like the venison. Sorry to all you vegans out there. I enjoy it. And his time is limited because he bow hunts, which is a little more sportsmanlike, I guess. I don't know. Depends on how you feel about it. He doesn't like rifle season, though. He says it's too congested and people are crazy out there with their guns. So he likes to do bow season. And it has been several years since he has bagged a deer. And his dad has already gotten 2 this season. So we're behind. I want some venison. Blah Blah Friday. What do you guys think? I did write some stuff down, but I think I talked about it all. I just organized my stitchy area today. I had a bunch of projects that were just all loose and not in project envelopes, so I put them all in envelopes, and I have a bunch of stuff that I actually want to start. But then I put some of my whips back that I had worked on in the past few weeks, and I was flipping through them and found, obviously, all of my whips that still need to be worked on. I really wish I could come up with some type of rotation. I'm already thinking about my November stitching and what I want to work on. I know I want to work on my 12 Days of Christmas Plum Street Samplers freebie. I really want to work on that. It's half done. I keep thinking, oh, I'd love to get that done this year. Just don't know if that's going to happen, but I wouldn't mind getting another few blocks done. I want to start Countdown to Christmas that I was gifted. I want to start... Carolyn Manning just put out a snowflake stitch along, and I have fabric for that. And she released the hanger part already. So I want to start that and get that part done, and then the rest of it is like snowflakes. 2 snowflakes are released, I don't know, every month, every 2 weeks, I don't remember. But I want to do that one. And there's another Christmas, the Ship's Manor Christmas Town. I still want to do. I have a project envelope for that one. It still seems like there were other Christmas ones. I didn't even go through my whips to see what Christmas ones I wanted to do. I have that Santa that I worked on the last Friday thing that I did. Oops, got a knot. I don't think that's ever gonna get done, I swear. Oh, my foot fell asleep. Yeah, so there's lots of Christmas stitching. Oh, and I want to start that Give Thanks pattern that I got from my Goodwill binder that Natasha Stitcherella did. Speaking of, I know she restarted her channel. I need to actually find her new video. I need that. I need some Natasha in my life. So I have lots of things that I want to work on, but I also need to do some sewing. I don't think after this, like what you see here, I'm not going to be doing a lot of stitching. I have told myself no stitching during the day because I have sewing to do, and then I've been knitting at night. So my end of October update's going to be light, you guys. Ooh. Guess what? It's 12:15 or 2:15, so I gotta run inside, pick up my boy. But thanks for chatting with me, Blah Blah Friday. I just make it a real thing all the time. So, yeah, hope you guys are having a great day. Have a good weekend, and I will see you guys next time.